Very good morning, students. Welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 11th science biology and we are going to start the 5th chapter, that is the morphology in flowering plants. We have covered so many topics of this chapter, and now today we are going to start with another main topic of this chapter, that is inflorescence, right? And if you wish to check the different videos, right, you can check my YouTube link. So let's start with today's lecture, that is the inflorescence, right? So I'm going to show you. Okay, so you can see that we have already completed the three main parts of the plant, that is the leaf, stem and roots, right? And we have already covered the even the modifications of these three of the parts. Today we are going to see the next topic of this chapter, and that is inflorescence, right? The word inflorescence means the first thing, that is the arrangement of the flowers on the floral axis is known as inflorescence, right? So the definition of inflorescence says that whenever the flowers are arranged on the floral axis means a axis or a stem which is present on which the flowers are present, right? So the arrangement which is occurred of the flowers on the stem or on the floral axis, that is inflorescence, right? Now there are, depending upon the apex, right, whether it is going to convert into a flower or they are going to convert into a stem or other things, right? So when it is converting into a flower, then two major types of inflorescences are observed. The first is the racemose and the second is the cymose. So if it is asked that write the two different types of inflorescence, so the first inflorescence is the racemose type and the second inflorescence is the cymose type, right? So when we are talking about the racemose means the main axis continues to grow laterally in all acropetal succession. Now you can see here this figure, right? This figure shows that this figure is, you can see that there is presence of so many flowers. That means there will be no terminal end which is observed, and it grows laterally means it grows on both the sides, right? There will be no termination which is observed, right? So the main axis, it continuously grows. So the inflorescence in which the flowers continuously grows, the main axis, that is the main stem which is responsible for bearing all the flowers which are present in the plant, that type of inflorescence is known as racemose, and that type of succession is said to be the acropetal succession. That means वो ज्यादा, वो जब भी वो जो स्टेम होती है वो स्टेम से लेकर मतलब वो बढ़ते ही जाते हैं, राइट, इन द बोथ द डायरेक्शंस, राइट? एंड देयर विल बी नो टर्मिनेशन एंड और देयर विल बी नो टर्मिनल एंड व्हिच इज ऑब्जर्व्ड, राइट? वो जो है वो स्टेम जो है वो कंटिन्यूअसली ग्रो होती रहेगी एंड इट इज गोइंग टू बेयर द फ्लावर्स. That type is known as racemose type of inflorescence. The second type of inflorescence is cymose, right? In cymose, what happens? The main axis terminates in a flower, so the limited growth is observed, and that type of order is known as basipetal order. Now, the second type of inflorescence says that the main axis, it terminates into a flower. That means a presence of flower will be there, and which is not going to further extend or it is not going to further give the growth to the plant. यानी कि क्या होगा, इधर जो मेन एक्सेस होगी उसी पे एक फ्लावर आ जाएगा जिसकी वजह से वो आगे उसका ग्रोथ नहीं कर पाएगा, ठीक है? सो हियर व्हाट हैपेंस, द racemose, in racemose what happens, the particular stem or the particular main axis which is observed, that continuously grows, right? And for this reason that type of order is known as acropetal order. And while we are seeing of the cymose, the main axis, it terminates into the flower, which results in the limited growth. That means usse zyada uska growth nahi hoga, and for this reason what happens, that type of order is known as basipetal order, right? So you can see the figures also. In the racemose figure, you can see that there are so many flowers and it is continuously extending, that is continuously growing. But while we are talking about the cymose, you can see the three flowers which are observed. You can see the B figure there. The flowers are at the last point. After that, they are not further growing, right? So that type of inflorescence is said to be the cymose type of inflorescence, right? Now we are starting with the main topic of this chapter, that is the flower, on which the whole chapter is based, right? So the flower, now you can see this figure, right? This figure says, or you can say, if it is asked that draw the typical flower, right? Or you label diagram of typical flower, then you have to draw this figure and you have to mention the functions of all these labels, right? And here you are going to see that what description you are going to write when the exam you are being asked with the flower, right? So the flower, so flower is said to be the reproductive unit of the plants. That means they are said to be the reproductive units because they, upon them only the flower is reproducing, right? And they are carrying out in the sexual type of reproduction, right? So when we are talking about the flower, it do contains four main parts. So when we are talking about the flower, there four whorls are present. First is sepal, second is petal, third is gynoecium, and fourth is androecium. So we can say that these are the four different main parts of the flower. Here you can see in the figure the green colored portion, right? That is said to be the sepal. You can see the figure, the labelings are already there in the figures, right? The second are the petals, that is the long and the um, colorful petals you can see, right? Those are said to be petals. The another, the main in the middle which is written, right, that is a sigma style ovary, that is the carpel, which is said to be the gynoecium, right? There are so many different types of words which are used for gynoecium. We will see when we are going to see that in detail, right? Androecium, the gynoecium is said to be the female sex organ, and androecium is known as the male sex organ, right? Here the another parts are thalamus, which is also known as receptacle, right? You can see at the downward region of the ovary, right, there is presence of sepal. At the sepal and the ovary, now the middle portion of between them, that is known as thalamus, right? Because the whole flower is based on that. For this reason, it is known as thalamus. Next point is they are trimerous. Trimerous, that means tri means three, tetra means four, penta means five, and poly means so many, right? So trimerous, tetramerous, pentamerous, and polymerous. So the petals which are present, they can be three. That tetramerous, they can be either four. Pentamerous, they can be five. Polymerous, that means they can be more than five. For example, rose, right? उसमें बहुत सारी petals होती है, right? So here what happens, few flowers are there which are trimerous. That means only the sepals as well as the petals, they are present in three number. If they are present in four, then they are said to be tetramerous. So same way, if there is presence of so many petals and so many sepals, then they are said to be polymerous, right? Next is bracteate, ebracteate, and bract, right? That is a protective sheet around the flower. Now there is a presence of a protective sheet around the flower, and if it is present, then it is said to be bracteate. That is a bract, right? The word which is said to be the covering that sheet is known as bract, right? So if the particular flower is containing a protective sheet, then it is known as bracteate. If the sheet is not present, then they are said to be ebracteate. So few of the flowers, they do possess the protective sheet, and if it is present, then those flowers are coming under the bracteates. And when the particular flower is not containing a protective sheet, then those type of flowers are known as ebracteate, right? The next point is they either the flower may be bisexual or unisexual, right? Bisexual means in one particular flower, right, both that is male and female, both are present, right? In animals, when we covered the fourth chapter, that is animal kingdom, we saw hermaphrodite, right? That word was used when the sexes were not separate, right? That is what the male and female both are present in a single organism, and the example which was given over there was earthworm. Same way in plants also, the flower is also bisexual in nature. And if the flowers are bisexual in nature, that means the male organs as well as the female organs both are present in a single flower. So the stamen or the androecium and gynoecium, if both of them are present in a single flower, that type of flower is known as bisexual flower. And when a particular flower is containing only gynoecium or only androecium. That means two different types of flowers are containing two different types of sex organs. That is, gynoecium is present in another flower and androecium is present in another flower. That type of flowers are known as unisexual flowers, right? Next is two types of symmetry is observed, right? Actinomorphic, zygomorphic, and the third is asymmetric, which is normal, right? So actinomorphic, in animal kingdom you have seen about the radial symmetry as well as the bilateral symmetry, right? So actinomorphic in plants, when we are talking about the symmetry, again there will be the two different types of symmetry which is observed. If the particular flower is symmetrical, then two different types are there. Actinomorphic means the radial symmetry and zygomorphic means the bilateral symmetry, right? So when we are talking about the actinomorphic, the particular flower can be divided into the two equal parts. Well, when you are cutting the flower from any of the plane which is passing through the center, the example which is observed for the actinomorphic, that is the mustard, right? Next is the zygomorphic, where the bilateral symmetry is observed. The bilateral symmetry means that you can divide the flower into two equal parts, that is a left and a right, right? So that is observed in the pea plant, right? So when we are talking about actinomorphic, that is radial symmetry. Second is zygomorphic, that is bilateral symmetry, that is P. The last and the third type of symmetry, that is not type of symmetry, but the flowers which do not contain any type of symmetry, those type of flowers are known as asymmetric. And the example of the asymmetry is the canna, right? Next is, now, the position of the floral parts on thalamus, right? Now how there will be the how the position of the different types of ovaries, right? So based upon the position of ovary, all the floral parts are arranged, right? So the main function or the main portion over here for the positions, or for the setting the position of the floral parts means mane ke flower ke sare parts, right? So it is based on the position of the ovary. So the first main thing which is to be kept in mind is the position of the ovary. So first is the hypogynous ovary, which is seen in the mustard, and it is superior. Now you can see the first figure starting from the left side. You can see that the first figure says that the particular ovary is not present inside the thalamus region, right? But it is present on the top of the thalamus region. The thalamus region is which portion? The green colored portion which is containing the sepals, right? So here in the particular, the first type of ovary, that is the hypogonous ovary, what happens, the particular position of the ovary will be superior. Why? Because it is not present inside the thalamus region, but it is present on the top of the thalamus region. Second is the perigynous type of ovary, which is half inferior. Half in inferior means inside, half inferior means half of the ovary is present inside and half of the ovary is present outside. So the B and C, right? The second and the third, this two of the figure shows the perigynous type of ovary, which is observed in rows, right? So you can see the first, the elongated ovary, which is observed here, that is half which is present inside the thalamus region and half of the region is present outside, right? Same way in the C type of figure also, you can see that the half of the ovary is present inside the thalamus region and half is present outside. So they are present half, right? And for this reason, the perigynous ovary shows the half inferior type of position. The third and the last type is known as epigynous ovary, which is observed in guava as well as cucumber, right? And this type, epigynous type of ovary, they show inferior type of position. Why it is inferior means totally inside, right? So you can see the last figure, right, where in the last figure you can see that it is here it is shown, right, that so here you can see the last type of ovary, that is epigynous ovary, right? And you can see in the last figure, right, which is the D figure, you can see in that the ovary is present, the whole ovary is present inside the thalamus region, right? So when the ovary is fully present inside the thalamus region, that type of ovary shows the inferior type of position, right? So three different types of position are observed. First is superior, second is half inferior, and third is inferior. Hypogynous ovary shows the superior position, perigynous ovary shows the half inferior position, and the third one, that is epigynous ovary, shows the inferior type of position. So this is all about the position of the ovary, on which there will be the position of the floral parts will be discussed, right? Now from here the main topic starts, and that is the parts of flower, right? But we are stopping here the lecture, right? And we will see in the next lecture that which are the main parts of the flower, right? And I hope you are very clear with today's lecture, and now I hope to see you again, right?